Hi and welcome back. In this video, I want to explain how the current system traps young people and gets them to voluntarily waive their constitutional protections and elect into the federal income tax system for life. We are a monkey see, monkey do society. We naturally submit to people in authority, like the government, or even our boss, or the HR department, or the payroll person. Most people just do what they're told. It's rare for someone to question it, push back, or do their own research. Here's a quick story that explains how this works. A little girl is watching her mom prepare dinner. She sees her mom cut the ends off the ham before putting it in the oven. So she asks, "Why did you cut the ends off?" Her mom says, "I don't know, that's just how my mom always did it." So the little girl goes to her grandma and asks the same question. Grandma says the same thing, "That's just how my mom always did it." Finally, she goes to her great-grandmother and asks her. Great-grandma laughs and says, "Oh, that's because my pan was too small." It's a funny story, but it reveals something true. We copy the people who came before us without even asking why. Monkey see, monkey do. Now, what most people don't realize, even adults who've been working for decades, is that every business owner who has employees is called a withholding agent by the federal government. That means the government considers them official agents of the United States, with the authority and the responsibility to withhold federal income taxes from their employees. Crazy, right? Most of these employers never asked for that role. There's no law forcing them to do it. But they do it anyway, because the people before them did. Tax professionals, government advisors, payroll companies, all miseducated. And they pass that miseducation down to the next generation of employers, and then onto the employees. It's a chain of ignorance. No one questions it. No one challenges it. And so the system just keeps repeating itself. And here's how young people get caught up in it. When you get hired at your first job, maybe you're 15 or 16 years old, your employer hands you a W-4 form and tells you to fill it out. That's what happened to me. I was washing dishes at a Mexican restaurant. I barely even remember filling it out. Most young people just do what they're told. They might ask the boss or someone in payroll how to fill it out, and they get the same miseducation passed down. Sometimes, the employer even helps the young employee by making sure extra money is withheld, so they don't owe anything at the end of the year. Sounds generous, right? But here's the trick. That young person ends up overpaying their taxes. So the next year, when they or their parents prepare the return, they find out they're owed a refund. Maybe $300, $500, or even $1,000. They get excited. They sign the 1040 tax return to get their refund. And just like that, they've sold their soul for a refund. That was your money in the first place. You should have never given it to the government. But once you give it to them, the only way to get it back is to put your name on a 1040 form and become an official United States taxpayer. This is how it works. This is how they get us. From start to finish, the entire system is built to miseducate us and trick us into volunteering. And they do it all without violating a single law or right. They don't force you, they just deceive you into volunteering. Evil, but brilliant. So here's what I want to do. If you haven't already, I want to make sure you never pay a single dollar in federal income tax, and we're going to do that by making sure you give your employer the right forms, filled out the right way, so that none of your money gets withheld. Before I talk about the forms to fill out, I want to speak to anyone who may be watching these videos on YouTube or Rumble or some other public platform. I'll be mentioning what forms to fill out to remain outside the system, but these forms must be filled out in a very specific way in order to be accepted by employers. Those instructions are spelled out step by step inside the Freedom Law Group Resource Center for Teens and Young Adults. We realize you have access to our free videos on public platforms, but we don't want anyone to fill out a form incorrectly and opt into the system, or to have your forms rejected by your employer with no recourse. If you are a taxpayer, meaning you have filed your taxes at least one time, we encourage you to purchase the Tax Freedom Package. The link is in the description. If you're not a taxpayer, meaning you have never filed a 1040 form, we encourage you to purchase the Tax Freedom Package for teens and young adults. This way, not only will you receive the proper instructions for filling out and submitting these forms to your employer, you'll also have the forms that we have legally augmented so as to be more readily received by your employer. We include instructions for the employers and letters from you to your employer should your employer not accept the proper forms you submit. And beyond that, if you get lost or confused or need any additional support, some level of ongoing consultation is included with both versions of the Tax Freedom Package. Okay, now, there are 3 forms you can use. The first 2 are specifically for non-resident aliens. Form 8233. and Form W-8BEN. Both are official IRS forms. But they're rarely used, so many employers have never seen them before. If you use Form 8233 and your employer rejects it, don't panic. We've prepared a letter you can personalize and give to your employer, explaining the law and their obligation to accept it. Or, you can switch to the W-8BEN. This one is a little more common. But if that gets rejected too, you have one more option. You can use a W-4 form, just not the one from the IRS website. We have a special version of the W-4 already filled out to exempt you from federal income taxes. It comes with 15 pages of legal explanation, including court rulings, IRS code, and constitutional authority. You submit this packet to your employer and you're good to go. No matter which form you use, the end result is the same: no federal income tax withheld from your paycheck. Now, just to be clear, you'll still see withholdings for Social Security and Medicare. And if your state has a state income tax, you'll see that too. But no federal income tax. None. And when tax season rolls around, while everyone else is stressing about filing their return, you'll be chillin' because you're a legal non-taxpayer and you've got nothing to file. Alright, now it's time to download the forms. If you're on a desktop or laptop, they should be right here on this page. If you're on a phone or tablet, you might need to scroll or switch to desktop view. Download all 3 forms. And make sure you also grab the instruction packets and the employer letters, just in case you need them. In fact, it's a good idea to print them all out and keep a hard copy, so you're always ready to go. Alright, that's it for this video. See you in the next one.